Hello everyone, Matthew here on day 3 of the New Orleans Wizard World Comic Con, here with the one and the only Rob Guillory of Lafayette. How are you doing today?
I'm alright. It's been a long weekend, a good weekend, but I'm hoarse and I'm kind of tired. So
I mean, that's the downside of doing it on the last day, is that, you know, it all hits you. But thank you for taking the time to talk to us again.
Yeah, no problem.
I mean, obviously, if you're fans of us, and how could you not be, you'll recognize him as one of our few follow-up interviews from last year. Thank you for gracing us with your presence yet again.
Why did no one else follow up? Did something bad happen last year?
I mean, you know, I'm going to go with intimidating, or also you just happen to be here for a second year in a row. Either one of those.
Well, I remember talking about pie and sharks and maybe dolphins.
Yep.
So that seems like right up my alley.
That's how you know he remembers us, because we are... I can't believe you remember that. That's awesome. All right. So in the years since we last spoke, Chew has continued. You released another Omnivore edition, which is how I've been collecting them, because I love me some hardcovers. And I see right here that you've now released the Smorgasbord edition, and the inner collector in me is dying now because I have to get that too.
That was kind of the point. That was the point.
Oh, sons of bitches.
It's pretty much the big pimp version.
It's got a slipcase.
And we actually, like, when we first started Chew and it started becoming successful, Robert Kirkman was kind of our advisor. And he was just like, just keep doing new versions, man. He's like, yeah, do a 20-issue collection, and do a 30-issue collection, and then later do a 60-issue collection. It's like, there's no way we're doing anything bigger than 20. Like, it's so painful just to read anything heavier than that. I mean, it's a burden. So
you gotta wait till it's all done and collected, and then start doing the omnibus editions and come up with an even more ridiculous food term to call it. It's fun though. I love it.
Cool. Well, we'll see when we get there, but it will probably never go any bigger than the Smorgasbord. I mean, the Smorgasbord we debuted it in New York City, New York Comic Con, and we had never seen it before the show. And when we got there, we realized that our booth, we were signing at the Image booth and at our table, and they're at opposite ends of the convention center. And we had to haul them from the Image booth. Or let me rephrase that.
You had to haul.
No, John Layman had to haul them. Because I got in late, so every morning he would get in.
Conveniently.
Well, he would get in every morning with a dolly and like haul it across the convention center, and they were just so massive and heavy. I mean, we're really happy with it. We've been talking about doing it since we started the book, so now that it's actually here, it's really weird, but we're happy with it.
Well, what I love is that, I mean, Image of late has been just exploding with like really great indie titles. Like, I mean, huge names, everyone from like Fraction to Rucka and stuff. And you've really been there since, I don't want to say the beginning, but early. You've been a very early success of Image. How does it feel to know that, like, now that your company is so great, to know that you're still one of the big ones from Image? And I kind of love that.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of came in during a time where like Image was going through. I mean, we kind of were one of the first. Yeah. I mean, when we came in, there really wasn't a lot going on at Image.
You were one of the first, like, non-Kirkman books.
Right. Which was funny because we didn't really get, like, a lot of attention. Like, we literally, when they debuted us, Layman always tells a story. They announced us at WonderCon in 2009, and they, like, were hyping up this other book. I won't mention the name of it, but it's not around anymore. But it was a big new thing, and they're like, yeah, this is going to be the next big thing. And they're like, oh, here's this other book, shoot. It's got cannibals.
Food people,
right.
Yeah.
It's got cannibals. And, like, you know, it's really kind of a crazy 40 issues later that we're still here, and that we've actually had a really consistent fan base. Like, our sales have always been consistent from the very beginning, and it's weird because the Image has changed so dramatically that, like, our success is actually, like, meager compared to the gigantic success of, like, books like Saga or, like, any of these new books that are coming out. It's pretty crazy. So it makes me really curious what's going to happen when Chew's over. Right. And let's say, you know, me and Layman relaunch something in Image. Hey. You know, who knows what'll happen.
You get that ground floor aspect. Be like, hey guys, we're here with a new book. What's up?
I mean, it's just a completely different terrain than it was. And it's funny. I remember whenever Chew started being successful, and we actually started. I never thought we'd like make money making Chew. I mean, when he first told me the contract, he's like, well, you make this much on the front end. I'm so sorry, it's not very much. But by the way, there's some back end. And at that point, I'd never make back end in my life. Okay. I thought back end was like Bigfoot. It's like back end, what is back end? I was like, yeah, whatever, back end. I'll never see that. That's never going to happen. But then we started actually making money at it and being successful with trades and everything. And I started realizing, like, wait a minute, like, if we're doing this well as nobodies, what happens if a guy like Brian K. Vaughan comes in with an established audience at Image? Like, why would you work, no offense to Marvel or DC, but why would you work there when you could work at Image, make more money,
and own the rights
completely, have no editorial, crap, and do what you want and have fun doing it?
And I think a lot of people are realizing that because, I mean, that's why you're getting people like Rucka and Fraction and Remender and, I mean, like, and Vaughn, of course. I mean, we do a weekly comic show. Like, every week we do it. Quick plug, iTunes, NOLAnerdcast.com, whatever. And we're realizing that the number of Image books that we're talking about and reviewing because we're buying them is now equal to our DC Marvel like list. And that's kind of like, you notice that a year in when we do our like look back and we're like, wow, like Image. And then Image just had their like Image Expo where they announced the crazy list of things coming out. We're like, well, it looks like that list is growing. And Shu is, I wish I was on the ground floor with the issues, but I can't bring myself to start at like 35 and like, yeah.
Which is cool. I mean, I think that's a reason why we do so well with like trades and digital sales. I mean, I think that we are in a really weird place where like we are 40 issues in, and we're not going to do a new #1. We're not going to do any of that stuff. We're literally like two-thirds of the way there, and we're not going to like. We're going ahead. So it is a. I would say it's a bad time to jump on, but feel free to go back in the trades and like check it out.
Oh, that's. I mean, these things are so nice looking and they're well constructed. And but of course, in true comics form, it always ends on that goddamn cliffhanger. Right. And then knowing that I have to wait a year or so for the next one, it breaks my heart.
Right. And I mean, with the overall Image stuff, I mean, it's really, really cool that it's blowing up. And I mean, it's obvious to everyone, I think, that Image is gonna topple DC at some point as the #2. Yeah. Which I think really freaks people out. Like, I mean, after Image Expo, people were really freaking out about like, oh my god, like
did you see everything they announced?
Right. And it really freaked out a lot of I think it freaked out a lot of people with aspirations of getting in at Image Comics because they were thinking like, well, wait a minute, like Image has been the underdog for so long. Now that they're actually like top shit, if I can say that on this podcast.
You can, fuck it.
Now that that's happened, it freaks people out a little bit. Because they think like, well, holy crap, if you're bringing in like, Brian K. Vaughan or like any of these guys, like what chance do I have at breaking in? But I think that's the beauty of Image, is like you can have like these gigantic names with like total nobody, like new guys.
Well, they got to start somewhere.
Exactly. Like I think Image's strength is that they are adventurous and bold in ways that like a DC is scared to be. Right. Which is not slighting them, but it's true.
Right. Well, and what we never understood is that Marvel and DC have these other imprints like Vertigo, and they could do the same thing, like create their own, like go crazy in these other imprints, and I'm sure we'll see that eventually to try and match it.
And they have. I mean, a lot of the books that are kind of the big books, the visionary books that people like kind of refer to, reference all the time that we do. I mean, Preacher. Yeah. Why the Last
Vertigo
Man
used to be like that.
Transmet. I mean, they did that, but they also left their talent alone. Yeah. Which I think is like their biggest problem, is that they interfere way too much.
That's why I think they should just kind of copy the Image model and just do that, because it's such a success. I mean, Vertigo tried, like at Comic-Con, Vertigo has released a wave of like new books that are very Image-ish, like Coffin Hill and Federal Bureau of Physics and Wake and stuff, but it's just not quite as awesome as, I mean, it's gotten to the point where if you see a #1 and it's got the Image eye on it, you're like, I'm going to give it a shot, because you never know.
My hope, I mean, was with all the new #1s, is that I hope that the books continue. Yeah. Because it's not a lot of books that get to 40 issues.
And congratulations for you guys. I mean, to bring it back to you.
Yeah, that wasn't like, puffing ourselves up. But the reality is, like, in this day and age, it's not. It is rare for a book to get to 40 issues with the same creative team. I mean, these days that just doesn't happen. No. And then you look at guys like Ryan Ottley or Charlie Adler that have like, 100+ issues.
As the
it's like you don't see that today at all. So my hope is that with all the new Image books that I love all of them. I love a lot of them. I hope that I hope that they're around 5 years from now.
I hope so too.
Yeah, I mean, I hope they continue because they're awesome. I hope Saga's around like 10 years from now if they want it to be.
Right. Yeah.
You know.
So, Chu, I mean, do you have anything else that you like do on the side, like art-wise? I know you do commissions of sorts, and
From time to time, yeah.
Well, what I love about you is that you're also really strong on social media, and you will like respond to fans and talk to them, and you're just super cool.
It's social media is a blessing and a curse. I mean, I love interacting with fans and just screwing around, but
Yeah, you're hilarious on it.
I'm always a little nervous that like I'm just gonna say the wrong thing and it's just
Get
over.
that call from Image, be like, sorry, we have to distance ourselves
Right.
from you.
I mean, recently, like I kind of got involved in like the diversity controversy thing from Image Expo and like said some things that not a lot of people agreed with. Well, a lot of people did, but then a vocal lot of people said,
There's always that vocal minority.
Right. And then before you know it, like Bleeding Coal picks you up and it's like, oh, great. Like,
And now you're everywhere.
my day's ruined. It's like, I mean, it's you kind of have to be careful what you put out there.
Right.
So I've scaled back quite a bit from social media. Like I don't have a Facebook or any of that
No,
stuff.
you never did that.
I mean, even my blog is really sad. Like I don't think I've updated my blog since the last time you interviewed me a lot.
Focus on the Twitter.
Right, exactly. Or don't focus too hard.
He's a sometimes food. All right, you enjoy him on the occasion.
Right. So it's a really, really powerful tool, almost frighteningly so.
Right.
I mean, literally, like I could put something online. Example, like I did a cover for IDW years ago for the Ninja Turtles, and I loved it. And stuff happened. It got rejected. I put it online, and before you know it, like the internet like had a seizure, and in 24 hours it got unrejected, which was cool.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like holy crap! Like with great power comes great responsibility. It's like oh my god! Like I mean, you don't know what's gonna happen when you put something out there.
Right.
So like, it's cool, but I'm a little afraid of it too.
Well, I know last year, cake and pie, sharks and dolphins. We have a more philosophical question for you today. All right?
More philosophical than
cake and pie. Yeah, exactly. All right. Do you think rocks are actually soft and they just tense up when you touch them?
Wow. No, I don't think that at all. I'm pretty sure that's like probably been scientifically proven to be untrue.
Oh man, you're the exact opposite of Cody over here. He like gave us the most well thought out, like ridiculous answer ever.
Cody,
you're very confirmed.
Cody did he overthinks things sometimes.
You're just like nope.
I'm just like no, that's just not how it is.
All right, well thank you very much for taking the time to us. We'll send you the link and everything, and as always, you've been a great fun amount of people to talk to. That doesn't make any sense.
No,
all right, you've been great to talk to, and we'll leave it at that. I did not stick the landing.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rob. You have a great day.
You too.